Gibberpish podcast.
Well, we may have given you every possible opportunity to back the fuck out of this episode, but we're here to talk Gibberpish, specifically about Avengers Endgame. And we're putting this out as a little solo bubble episode of like 30-40 minutes.
Yeah.
I can't believe I just said that. This is going to go on for 3 hours now.
Yeah, probably. The minute you put a timestamp on it, we will go beyond the timestamp.
We go beyond plus ultra. And then, like,
even further beyond.
I had that moment as well, obviously, that was weird. But this will be our little Avengers Endgame summary. So if you have not seen the movie yet, somehow, I think the global box office is at like 2.5 billion.
2.6 billion it's sitting at. It is. No, in fact, I think it is, as of now, overtaking Avatar.
So statistically speaking, you have seen this movie, but if you've not, and you're somehow listening to this podcast, turn off now.
Yeah.
Go see this film, and then come back and listen to us completely butcher the plotline, because it's been like a week or two since we've seen it.
I think I can remember, but there are some brain fart moments in the plot itself. I mean, it's
like there's a guy with a mustache. I don't know.
There's plenty of guys, dudes with mustaches.
Yeah.
Although the one person with a mustache that I wanted to be in the movie wasn't in the movie.
Rick Ross. No, General Ross. Sorry.
General Ross. Yeah, Thaddeus Ross.
Thunderbolt.
Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross. Yeah, I thought they introducing Red Hulk because that'd be fucking cool.
Red Hulk would be helpful in a situation where you're fighting an endless army.
Yeah, I mean, he's like the Hulk, except every so often he can just napalm things.
So, starting off, I've been talking about Marvel movies for like the beginning of this podcast, way back until the season 0, and we're talking about it back then. This has been, as we say, the build-up of like 15 years, or at this point, close enough.
I think 11 years worth of movies, because I think as of 2008. Yeah, 2008 is when Iron Man came out, so I think it's been 11 years worth of movies.
Yeah.
22 odd movies.
22 movies that have just absorbed us completely to the point where this was the cultural phenomenon, and part of why we're doing this as a separate episode is because there's been a respect around spoilers for this movie.
Yeah, for certain titles, there's been a respect for
certain titles, but we're turning to that one in the main episode.
Yeah, we'll get to that shit later.
But this has been 11 years in the making, and tasked with an almost impossible feat of just summarizing the entire Avengers experience in a 3-hour movie.
Oh yeah, there was 3 hours, and it was a Herculean task to try and distill all the different characters and try and get everyone onto this one experience. It was just a monumental task for the Russos. Yeah, it was the Russos that directed this.
Yes.
I'm almost always tempted to say Kevin Feige, because he is the godfather. Yeah. He is the one above all.
That guy has like a golden ticket. As soon as he wants it, he can snap his fingers and become a Disney board member. There's no way he was not offered that as some kind of genius Machiavellian master of marketing and scheming. Yeah,
he could finagle his way into just Walt Disney's old job.
I think they just offered him and said, look, you go continue to executive produce as many movies as you want, but here you go, here's your little golden ticket.
Yeah.
Whenever you feel like you're done with that, come cash out with the big boys.
Yeah, you can parlay it with us.
We will give you some money.
Yeah.
We will give you enough money to do what we just paid you to do with anyone on the planet.
We won't just give you money, we will give you mouse money. Mouse money is a different fucking level.
This is the mouse credit card. It's just like a little, it's shaped like Mickey Mouse's head.
Yeah.
Does it scan through? No, it just buys the building it's sitting in.
You just show it to the guy and he instantly hands you the deeds and the keys to the building.
Yeah.
That's how powerful the mouse credit card is.
But this, the Russo brothers have done fantastically well in just laying out the last couple of movies for the Avengers series. Since I think they did Endgame, or not Civil War.
They started off with Winter Soldier, which is the best Captain America movie.
Yeah.
It's just talking about it's high stakes, but it's also personal, because it's Cap dealing with his best friend from days past, who's now turned against him and who's now working for the people that tried to kill him. So there's just like a whole hodgepodge. And then from Winter Soldier, they did Infinity War, Civil War, Infinity War, and they finished off with it. I say finished off with Endgame. I don't think they're done. I think they want to keep going.
I think, again, it's another case of how many of these do you want to make?
Yeah.
You still interested? We're still interested. Yeah. But you want some money? We got some money.
A pretty good feat considering the Russos started off doing, was it Curb Your Enthusiasm or Community?
They did a couple episodes of Community, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the first time I heard of them and was being told, like, oh yeah, it's the guys that started there and now go and do this whole other universe.
Yeah, I think it was more a case of these people, they have director chops, but they also love the source material.
Yeah.
Which I think needs to be more of in other realms of directing.
Could we possibly be talking about DC? You'll never know, because this is an Avengers podcast, not that. Again,
I think just in general, going forward for any movie director, just love what you're filming.
Yeah.
And then the movie becomes so much better, because you've seen what the Russos have done. They love Captain America, they love the Avengers.
And each one of these films is just layered in with all these little, like, nuanced little jokes and references and callbacks to even within the MCU continuity.
Oh yeah.
Like, there's just all these little things you're like, oh yeah, they give a shit enough to go back and watch all 20 movies before they make number 22.
Yeah. And that shows up very, very evidently in Endgame. Like, all the little callbacks that are in that, specifically in certain time travel scenes where they go back in time and they get the old landscape, they get the old locations right, they bring back other actors that played these other roles, they bring them back. I mean, it'd be so easy for them just to do, oh, there's that guy.
He looks kind of like the other guy.
He looks exactly like that guy. Or let's just put a helmet and a mask on that guy. No, let's go back and get that actor. Let's go and get Frank Grillo to reprise that character.
Yeah, let's have Tom Hiddleston come back, because it's been a couple of movies.
Yeah,
and we kind of miss him. I still do kind of miss Loki, and I think everyone went into this movie saying, how are they going to bring back Loki? And
I think Tom Hiddleston's done.
Yeah,
I genuinely think he's done. He's doing that series on Disney Plus, which is all about Loki, but Loki's narrating it. He's not actually in it.
Okay.
Which I don't know how they're going to do. I mean, I might be wrong. I'm butchering the synopsis, but from what I heard, he's getting his own spin-off series that's basically Loki's little adventures in space.
What we're saying is we've got Loki's animated adventures, kind of like the Jackie Chan animated adventures, but with Loki.
And better.
It's a very low bar, but the overall, like, the tone of this movie is fantastic in that it does that Marvel thing again, where somehow they balance this weird interpersonal comedy where it's just various people in various situations, like almost like, how are they going to get out of this wacky situation, almost like a weekday cartoon, or weekend cartoon, and throw it in the middle of like some of the most epic action scenes that have been committed to film. And there's a lot of, with this being including some very like the middle third, I'd say it's maybe the time travel segment.
Yeah, I think because it doesn't feel like it drags into the time travel segment, but the first half, I don't think it'd be blowing anyone's mind by saying that it does drag a little bit, but that in my mind does nothing to damage the movie. It helps the movie in the sense that these are broken people. Captain America has never lost a fight in his life.
Yeah.
Iron Man, he can always get, like, he was trapped in a cave in the Middle East somewhere, strapped to a car battery to keep himself alive. He got out of that situation. Black Widow, same thing. These are people that have never really been in the unwinnable situation, and they lost heavily. So they take it a bit slower, and they show them kind of building themselves back up. Captain America reconnects with other people and finds, maybe losing's not that bad a thing. Maybe we can move on. Yeah. But ultimately, since they find a way, they just think we owe it to ourselves to go out and try it. Yeah. And that's why I think the opening works. Yeah. A lot of people say that it dragged a bit, but no, the opening is. But it works for the movie. You need to kind of keep the characters down in a bad mood, in a dark place, and show them all going through it in their own different ways. Like Cap goes out to help the community, which I thought was great. Like, it's a great point of, if half the people on the planet just disappear, when will you be okay? Yeah. One, like the fact that it's like 5 years later, one guy's like, yeah, we made it to desserts, and we made it to dessert before we started crying. And like, yeah, you would just kind of do that. Yeah. The planet would be like that for a while, and you would have massive infrastructure problems. You'd have like half your engineers disappear, half your like people who process waste disappear. Do you know how to like reskill people to get that job done? Yeah. When you think half the people on the planet, you think the calculations you have to do there then to figure out just exactly the effects of it would be astronomical. But I watched a video on YouTube. It's the guy, one of the people that does the series. I can't remember the name of the series. I can't even remember the name of the channel. But one of the hosts on it was a guy called Sam Basher, who was in a SourceFed way back in the day. He's part of the Valley Folk now. No, he's avoiding that mess. All right. But Sam Basher, he done a video explaining how many people died because of the snap, but not because of the actual snap itself. How many people were on a plane and the pilot died? Ooh. How many people were, on a bus going around a tight bend, driver gets turned to dust and the bus just goes straight off the edge? How many people were pregnant at the time of the snap and the fetus disappeared?
Yeah.
It goes into and again the calculations would turn Einstein. It would just make Einstein's hair fall out.
Yeah.
It would turn it back to black, then grey again, then black, then grey again.
And then it just burst into flames because
he would just combust.
Yeah, I've been wondering that as well with the Thanos snap, and it was just a weird, curious thought that just popped in my head. At what point what would happen if the mother gets snapped, but the baby doesn't somehow? At what point would we then have the answer to at what point is a fetus a baby?
Yeah,
we'd finally get the answer to the abortion argument. We'd know the line.
Yeah.
Let's
not get into that.
Just be like a little baby sitting in a ball.
Yeah. You remember that episode?
What the fuck is this?
Remember the episode of $1 Million But? Yeah. It's just every time they go to sleep, they wake up and they're just in a womb. Maybe
you've got to be birthed every morning.
Yeah, they've just got to be birthed every morning. Or maybe the snap advances them through time to the point where they're just fully grown human beings.
That'd be even more terrifying.
It would be just, why'd you look like my dad?
One day you just wake up as a 5-year-old.
What the fuck is this?
You wake up as a 5-year-old into a world where nobody knows what's going on. You can't speak because no one's taught you English or no one's taught you your native language. Yeah. You just kind of walk around as people are crying and you're just walking around naked with no fucking clue as to why everyone is having a shit fit.
Probably
and as you
pissing and shitting yourself all over.
Planes dropping out the sky, buses smashing into stuff, cars.
Yeah, just rolling down hills without drivers. Carnage.
That's impressive. That's a great angle on this on the Thanos.
I'll try and find the name of the video and I'll send it along to you because it was really, really interesting. There's a lot of animation and stuff involved in it, but it's a really good video, and it did kind of make me think. Surely the writers and producers of this movie haven't thought about that because they've got other things to worry about. Surely they've got the snap.
Yeah.
And then you've got the
snap is enough to sell you on the impact.
Yeah, but then you've got this is a kind of little nice addition to the whole mythos of the Marvel. It's obviously not licensed by Marvel, but it's a nice little thing to put the snap into perspective. Or the devastation they keep calling it. I've heard it being called multiple names. They call it the snap or the devastation or the infinity. What was it? Someone on YouTube, I was watching a video, they call it the infinity event or something. I'm pretty sure that's just one guy trying to use infinity in it. But yeah, I mean, I think if you just, because you think at the snap, you just think, oh, how bad can it be? Because just clicking your fingers, bad things happen. But then you pile other shit on top of it. I think the snap sets you up for a bigger realization of just how much bad shit happens when he just clicked his fingers. Yeah,
and I was this for a good to weird theories. I've always wondered. Is the 50% even across the universe? Is there an entire planet that didn't feel the snap? Is it a bell curve situation where, on average, about 50% die, but there'll be, some extreme cases, one planet doesn't notice it, one planet just disappears? I'd be very curious to, I want to know more about, the weird kind of mathematical workout of the
what about twin planets, where you've got two planets that basically orbit in the same space? You've got half population on one side, half population on the other side. Technically, you could have wipe at one planet, and the other planet would be safe. Yeah, maybe in that. Again, trying to figure out the minutiae of the snap would end up frying our brains.
I'd love to see one place where there was they've just elected the best governor possible. This is the best chance for our people. We've elected this amazing person who will lead us to the future, and as he's giving his inauguration speech, he just disappears.
Yeah, he just crumbles.
He's the one guy who gets it just because of the bell curve. He just kind of gets fucked.
Doctor Who made a joke like that. There's an episode, I think it's David Tennant's final episode, where the Master, played by John Sim, his big evil plan is, because the guy's such an egomaniac, he thinks he is perfection. He finds a machine that can basically transport his genetic template across the entire planet.
Right.
And he basically, every person on the planet, with the exception of the Doctor and Doctor because he was off planet, and two other people because the Doctor did some science magic.
Right.
they negated the effects. Everyone becomes the Master. So he takes over Barack Obama's body. But obviously, it's a BBC show. They didn't show Barack Obama's face. Right. And he goes, I have the plan to save the universe. And he just rips it up. It's oh wait, the nuclear launch codes? Oh, gone. I don't know them anymore. He just starts fucking around with people.
Oh look, peace in Israel.
So, oh look, nuclear weapons. Click.
But yeah, this we should probably go back to Marvel. This would only be Marvel. So I think we talked about the first act, and I actually quite like the kind of slow-paced, kind of crushing moments. I like the fact that you see Natasha Romanoff kind of broken by the situation.
Yeah, she is. She's looking to try and find ways to help people.
Yeah.
Try and bring back her friends, essentially. try and bring back this family that she's built
Well,
up
she
around.
just wants to fix things.
Yeah, she just wants to set it back. Cause
Any kind of positive gain at this point would be good for her.
yeah, even if she just brings back half the Avengers, she'll be happy with that. But and she's organising different groups. You see her talking to
Captain Marvel, Rocket Raccoon.
Rocket Raccoon. Is it Okoye? The leader of the Dora Milaje from Black
We
Panther.
really should know her name.
I think it is Okoye.
Yeah.
But played by Danai Gurira. Honestly, one of the better additions, I think. Because she's this kind of badass female character, and at some point she just has these really funny one-liners.
Yeah.
Like in the battle in Wakanda in Infinity War, when Scarlet Witch just comes in and throws a couple of combine like dirt destroyer things into the field, and she goes, she's been up there this entire time. It's like, yeah, that's pretty cool.
It's very kind of no nonsense, but at the same time, like when you have that no nonsense working in a nonsense universe, you just have that as a weird kind of alternative comedic relief.
Yeah,
she's so good at just delivering the lines of like, really, like this is how it works with this nonsense. Okay, yeah, sure, and you're just gonna go. But at the same time, like she doesn't stick in that. It's like I need my little kind of really moment, and then I just go back to work. Yeah,
she's scarily efficient.
Yeah,
but you see Natasha Romanoff just kind of like, we need to get something out of this, and eventually they get the relief of Ant-Man, who by a fluke returns. That rat, like the gunner on the Death Star at the beginning of Star Wars 4, the most important character in Endgame. Right. Without the gunner in Star Wars 4, Alderaan doesn't get blown up. Without the rat in Endgame, Ant-Man doesn't come back and kick off the second act of the movie.
Yeah, I wonder about. It was weird to see, like someone just kind of be reintroduced. We joked about with like the baby just waking up at as a 5-year-old.
Yeah,
like I was wondering if that would be. Like, I just watched him go through that scenario of, like, what would you do? You just get dropped into this world with no idea. Like, he's just stuck there.
Yeah.
And luckily managed to find a relative, I think it's his daughter, that's growing up, and you're like, oh, okay, he gets that little kind of victory. But at the same time, he sees himself as dead.
Yeah, because he goes to the memorial garden.
Yeah.
And he's just going to go, he's looking for Cassie Lang as his daughter, and he's seeing your own name in the kind of list of the dead. That must be a huge fucking mindfuck.
Yeah. So weirdly,
it's the most juvenile sentence I've ever said. It must be like a fucking mindfuck, man.
Man, you just think about that, like
think about Thanos is like Play-Doh that kills people.
you're just alive, and then you see yourself and you see your name, and it says you're dead,
but you're not dead,
but you're alive
because I can see me.
What do you do? It's one of those good things of like you forget every now and again these guys are actors. Like you assume it's natural, and you see him go through this kind of process, and it's like, oh wait, he can actually act. Especially when it's Paul Rudd, who has been like the goofy like rom-com guy for years. To see him like have that really emotional like kind of get together with his daughter. Like, oh yeah, he's an actor. Yeah, they do that thing.
When I went to see it, there was a woman sitting behind me, and she walked her husband through that point because. He's going, right, he was clearly not in it. He was just there because his wife liked the movies or something.
Right.
And she's going, oh, now he's looking for Cassie. Oh, you remember Cassie for that other movie that we watched? And he's just like, yes, make this fucking film end. and
you're at that point, you're hoping the film's going to end. Oh boy.
Yeah, this guy was not having a good time. And she's going, oh, he's looking for Cassie. Oh no, Cassie better not be dead. I love that wee lassie. Cassie better not be dead.
Oh no, she's not doing the thing where she talks like she's at home.
Yeah.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
It pissed me off. Eventually she stopped because
someone would have thrown shit at her.
I think someone did throw shit at her because I just heard plastic like being crushed, then it hitting something, and then her not talking. So I'm pretty sure someone finished her slushy and just went yeet. But, and she's like, oh no. And then when you get that reveal, because Scott Lang is hard like running through the area, he finds his old house, and he's feverishly banging on the door, and you see a girl walking to the door. I immediately thought, oh no, that's Cassie's dead. Like this is just some other person that's hunkered down their old house. And I'm like, oh no, that is Cassie. Yeah. Oh right, time skip.
Oh yeah,
you forget that there was a time skip because she was 12 in the last one. It'd be realistic that she's about 17.
Yeah.
Now, at that point, she just went, oh good, thank the Lord.
Yeah. After that, Scott Lang returning brings about the kind of the theory that this could be reversible through time travel, but obviously. No one's kind of figured out time travel in the Marvel universe, and it's it's
bringing me in a bit of a complaint about the movie.
Right,
I get Tony Stark. He just he works through it, but there's no kind of. I think he does it in a night. a couple of it's maybe it might not be a single night, but within a couple of days, he's just like
there's no indication that this is something that takes him several months.
Yeah, he just kind of goes, I did it.
Yeah. And he says shit. And his daughter appears and says shit. And it's the funniest fucking thing.
Yeah.
Like,
Morgan Stark kind of steals the show at some point. So, like, okay, given Tony Stark a mini-me that's just as sarky as he is, fucking brilliant. But we'll jump back a bit. So, Scott Lang, he makes it to the Avengers. It's still, no, they're in the Avengers facility.
Yeah.
And then that kind of opens up the whole thing where he brings up the idea of time works differently in the quantum realm.
But we're going to need a bigger brain.
Yeah, we're going to need a bigger brain.
Introducing Professor Hulk.
Professor Hulk.
I love it.
Simultaneously one of the best and worst parts of the movie.
Yeah.
Best in the sense of I've never been a fan of just Hulk smash. Hulk with the brain of Banner has been infinitely cooler to me. I've always thought Professor Hulk was a cool character.
It takes rare circumstances for those two to kind of coexist because they do kind of hate each other in a weird way.
Oh yeah, they do. I mean, puny Banner is always that one person that stops the Hulk from doing what he wants, and Hulk is just smash.
Yeah. But what makes you dislike Professor Hulk?
To be honest, it's one tiny bit, and that is the.
How does he get glasses that big?
No, I mean you probably get glasses that big, but no, it's just the point that you see Professor Hulk. You finally see this is the brain of Banner and the body of the Hulk and the strength and the anger and the power of the Hulk. You never really get to see the strength and anger part. I get that when you fuse the two, obviously the smarter part's going to prevail.
Yeah.
Like, well, I don't need to smash. I can be smarter about this. But
yeah,
at the same part, that 12-year-old child in my brain is just going, I want to see the Hulk smash Thanos in the face.
Yeah. There's one.
It's not a massive complaint, but I still think it is one of the lesser parts of the movie.
There's only one scene where maybe that's kind of the point of that character though, is to show that this is Hulk with the influence of Banner moving beyond violence and outrage and like kind of just going nuts. The only time he does it is to prop up the entire Avengers facility when it gets smashed later on.
Yeah,
like that's the only, like, he busts out to save people. And maybe that's kind of the point of that, and the scene of time travel when he goes back to the first Avengers movie and is fakes being the Hulk by taking his shirt off and going, "Oh, me angry!" Oh, just taking the piss out of himself,
just
flipping over cars.
Things like, "Oh, this seems gratuitous."
Yeah, he just like throws a bike. Oh, me Hulk! It was. I do like the CGI used for the Hulk. It seems very kind of muted, and it's one of the great kind of merging of the kind of the CGI that is now capable and real world acting. And when you see like how he was walking around for a while, you see the behind the scenes footage of Mark Ruffalo walking around as Hulk. It's really funny that it's still him.
Yeah,
like it's not just like a tennis ball. Like I remember the it was like Lord of the Rings behind the scenes stuff. They're like they just had a tennis ball and a stick.
Yeah, and that was Gollum.
And that was the cave troll as well. It was like, okay, this thing's gonna murder you, and it's like a tennis ball. Like
they just wave the tennis ball back.
Oh, it's gonna get you now. Ooh, like
I think they've kind of merged the whole green screen and motion capture thing that Marvel have been doing quite well for a number of years. When they started getting more CG into the armors for Tony Stark and the suits for Spider-Man, they've kind of melded this whole green screen CG.
Guardians of the Galaxy has been huge for that as well, because it's Rocket Raccoon and Groot.
Oh yeah. I think that might be the first time that they tried it.
That was the first time it really like it hits you. Like, oh, it looks this good. Yeah. Oh, okay.
That's why I think they make Groot's movements seem so kind of fluid. Obviously, they can't do it to a certain point when he's shooting tendrils across the.
Yeah,
they do make it look like natural enough that someone could be doing mocap for this, but almost enough like the character, so it does feel like there's a tree walking about. Like it's not just running around fast; it's like big, slow, lumbering movements. Yeah,
but there's one character we did miss though from the kind of chapter 1, and it's probably the character being most personally affected by the fight against Thanos. Say like these characters never lost. Thor.
Oh yeah.
Fat Thor chilling in Scotland.
Yeah. There's a cameo with a bottle of Amber.
Yeah, there's a wee Amber cameo.
Yes.
I don't know what it is. I love that some of the Avengers takes place in Scotland. I have no idea why.
Yeah, the Russos love it. I think they're doing another movie, and I think it might be Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Right.
That I think is based in Scotland. Like they're going to have, it's going to be centered around a part of Scotland.
Well, one thing that it's kind of more political, but I do know that we are trying to grow our film industry.
Yeah.
And I think if we turn and say, hey, Disney, y'all want to film some scenery? We got scenery for days, son.
Yeah,
I
we
think
got
Disney's
green
not going
all
to
over
turn
the
it
shop.
down. Yeah, because between that and, say, the fact that Mark Hamill was hanging out as Luke Skywalker on a tiny little island up in the middle of Scotland as well.
That was Ireland.
Was that Ireland?
Yeah.
I thought it was in Scotland.
That was Ireland.
Shit, I've seen
Because
things in
he,
Scotland.
I remember after The Last Jedi wrapped,
Mm-hmm.
he put up a tweet saying, at John Boyega, at Carrie Fisher, or whatever it was, saying, you guys are chilling. And because I think they filmed part of the big casino scenes or whatever it was in Morocco.
Right.
Like, you guys are chilling in sunny climate here, and I'm freezing my ass off in the middle of nowhere in Ireland. Enjoy yourselves.
I like that. As I say, I do enjoy the fact that there's part of the Avengers legacy is in Scotland, and it was weird seeing it when it was in Waverley. I can't imagine what it's like for them to just kind of borrow a small coastal town in the middle of Scotland.
I think they would have been fine with it, because when they're bringing in like the fishing crates and stuff like that, I genuinely think that might have just been an entire town working.
Yeah.
Like, just like, you may be filming a movie, but we've got work to do. Thor, who the fuck is that?
Thor? Nah, no worshipping pagan gods here, lad.
That's a funny way to spell Jesus.
Because the Iron Brew cameo is hilarious. The Fortnite cameo is funny in a very weird way.
Oh, I think it was.
It's because they have the relationship between Epic Games and Disney. Yeah. Like
I didn't like it, but I think that's more to do with the fact that I don't like Fortnite whatsoever. But
yeah,
what I did like about that more was Korg and Meek.
Yeah,
just chilling, like hanging about in it.
It's just good to see Korg again. It's just nice.
It's good to hear Taika Waititi's voice coming out of a giant rock man.
And he I just like the fact that he needs, like, he can't play the game because he's giant rock hands, but he still needs Thor to insult somebody because he sounds too nice. But Thor, when he busts at the anger, just sounds angry all the time.
Yeah.
So he does sound like the right type of person that yelled at an Xbox headset. And although it was strange to hear it being so polite, I'm like, no one says.
No, no one's that polite.
No one holds back that much on Xbox Live. If they do, they're not playing Xbox. But that was a good laugh. Although weirdly enough, between that and Hulk dabbing, for some reason I was like, this is too weird. Like,
wait, did Hulk dab?
Hulk dabbed.
I think I might have just pushed that out my brain.
See, in the diner when the kids come up to meet him, Hulk dabs.
Yeah.
He has that fat dab. I felt bad. I watched it and I was like, oh, really? Like the Fortnite thing. That's
I guarantee
funny.
Afterward, Mark Ruffalo just went, do I have to do that?
He just really, like, I know I've asked for this 6 times, but can we have a 7th revision of the script to ensure that Hulk needs to dab? I need to know. I'm not going to just sit here and take this.
Do Epic Games have any kind of stake in this? Can we just get rid of the dab?
Look, we put the Fortnite thing in. Do we need to do this as well? It seems a bit much. Frankly, I think we're pushing
this. Seems gratuitous. But
so we have our, like, the whole kind of setup for the time traveling scene. We then have these great kind of self-aware time travel sequences where the Avengers that are there split up into different teams.
Yeah.
Big fan of the Nebula Black Widow tag team.
Was it Nebula Black Widow?
No, not Black Widow. Black War Machine.
It was Black.
I was going to say Black Panther.
Hawkeye / Ronin.
Yeah.
Because we kind of brushed over Hawkeye.
Hawkeye being an absolute serial killer.
Yeah, Hawkeye. I think the character that they were going for is Ronin, who in the current comics canon is Blade.
Right.
Who is just originally a criminal, but I think Blade picks it up because he realises that as Ronin, he could probably, hit people harder. He could probably get to the criminals harder. But I think for Hawkeye, it symbolises that he is just without a master. He's just basically picking on people that are.
I felt like he was just being an edgy weeb lord. Yeah,
pretty much. He's just picking on people like, you survived. My family died.
Really? You people get to survive?
Yeah, I think that was his whole thing. But it was cool to see Hawkeye just trying to make his way through the situation.
Yeah.
I mean, if he wanted to murder, Yakuza members in Japan and stab people in all over the country, if that's his way of doing things, fair play.
It's a grieving process. Everyone's is different.
Yeah. He racks up a fucker of a body count.
Yeah, like, I think he wastes the entire nightclub he's in.
Yeah, and there's just bodies skewed everywhere. Because by the time Natasha catches up to him, there's about 10 bodies in that one set alone.
Yeah.
There's a few bodies.
And much as being an edgy weeb lord, he's getting the job done.
Yeah, he gets the job done and he helps out. He gets the job done then, but then later on he's just kind of, messenger boy. He has to he has to take the big payload while everyone else is out.
Yeah, that's his one real kind of contribution. Other than it was like getting Natasha killed or allowing Natasha to kill herself.
He didn't allow her.
Yeah.
that was a.
Did he though? Did he try hard enough? I feel like he could put an extra 10% effort in there.
Yeah. That was kind of a grating sequence because I think it went on for maybe just a bit too long. I get that neither one of them are willing to let the other one go, and they're like, no, I'm going to do it. I've lost too much.
No, I want to die more.
No, I want to
die more.
You'll see your friends and family again. I know it. Let me die.
Yeah. And for some reason somebody said, it's great symbolism because way back they've always been talking about Natasha's red in her ledger, and it's the red skull, and he's got the red face, and it's all the red coming back. No, it's just someone just accepting the fact they would die rather than let their friend die. That's all it means.
The only symbolism in it is that Black Widow, she's solitary. She's a very solitary person, but if she dies over Clint, hopefully what she does can help Clint bring his family back. Yeah, that's the only real symbolism that I think you need to take from that, and it's not even symbolism; it's just out and out.
That's the interpretation of that's her logic there.
Yeah, just if I do this,
the only symbolism is she lands kind of like an angel. Like I think that's it. I'm pretty sure I've seen that pose, like the way her body lands. Although first of all, if you landed from that high, it's a splatter.
Yeah,
you're not finding a perfectly preserved like little
Scarlett
angel just with a little bit of a head injury. Oh, I think I'm feeling faint and fading away. No, it's like splash, like it's like throwing a watermelon into a fucking air jet turbine. Like there's gonna be nothing left.
It's gonna be a blood powder. I think it's the only thing that I noticed about that was she landed in almost the exact same way as Nebula. Not Nebula, fucking Gamora. One of them daughters of Thanos.
Yeah. But there's a lot of stuff that you can say, okay, that's good, but at the same time, like, it was strange. It was a strange scene. I don't know, but at the same time, Dufo, you're right. Like, it did seem to kind of drag on a fair bit. Yeah,
I mean, it's not a major complaint about it. I just think it could have been slightly shorter. But I mean, there's a director's cut coming out that adds an extra 40 minutes onto the movie.
Jesus Christ.
The battle has its own 3-act structure.
Okay.
I think at some point during the battle they retreat, bring out a board, and just start drawing it. You know, like you see in the American football movies.
We gotta just change it up a little bit.
Guys, we got Spider-Man. He's gonna catch the kick and he's gonna run it back in. He's gonna offload the ball to War Machine, who reverted back to his Iron Patriot armor. He kind of goes back to the blue and red instead of the grey and black.
Maybe he didn't have time to like scrub off all the time travel paint. I don't know.
Maybe he just thought, I'm sticking with the...
Why did he have time travel paint? I have no idea why he was doing that.
It was weird because everyone else had the suits that they popped on.
Yeah.
His War Machine armor was just time travel.
The War Machine stuff, time travel. That's fine. It's fine. Don't think about it.
Yeah. You've got cripple strength. It's fine.
He's got cripple strength.
They could have glossed over that again. It's like, it's been 5 years. I get that it's not just going to be magically better overnight, but he still had the I think he still had the apparatus on.
But does he not have a severed spine? I thought that
the
rocket shot, and I don't think
that's not going to fix no matter how long it takes.
Yeah, when half the planet's dead, like the priority is not one dude with a busted spine.
Yeah,
especially when you see him walking around, you're like, well, that guy doesn't need help. He's fine.
You put him in his suit, he's flying around fine.
I mean, he's better than most of us. I mean, I don't have a Gatling gun for a shoulder.
No, I don't have napalm in my shoulder on my backpack.
Yeah, I think we can just leave War Machine alone. He's fine. But I did quite enjoy him and Nebula as a tag team duo. They're watching Star-Lord because they both like. I don't think War Machine and Star-Lord get on that much. I don't think they have like great chemistry. I think they just they know of each other.
I think they might have fought at one point. In fact, no, I don't actually think Star-Lord and War Machine have met at all.
Yeah, so he's just some dick. He's just some
dickhead dancing around.
He's listening to 80s music and dancing around like a dick.
He's listening to Redbone and just dancing, kicking space rats as well.
And the fact that they don't just instantly go, so that's the guy. They're just kind of like, what a dick. And she's obviously, she hates him.
Yeah, she's, that idiot.
She's like, yep, you have no idea.
Try living with it.
There's just something enjoyable with their kind of like weird semi-bitchy relationship together that like they get on together, but because they hate other people.
Yeah.
I like it. It was a good little, like, of all the jokes, I enjoyed that the most for some reason. With the exception of when they time travel back to New York during the first Avengers, Iron Man watching them take Loki down, and you hear not not present Iron Man, who's time travel back, but then Iron Man insult everyone for standing over him with like heroic poses, which is a great moment in the first film when you watch it.
Yeah.
But it's like now with like 8 years of cynicism from that moment onwards, we're like, when he slags off the Avengers, like, yeah, you're right. Why did they just pose like that? That was so stupid.
What would have been funnier is just if at that point, Tony Stark from Avengers Assemble just kind of went, and cut. Right, let's get the SHIELD guys in here. Let's clean this mess up. I am done.
What else is there from that scene? The fact that Tony tells like he flicks Ant-Man onto himself, and says, "Don't worry, just yank it some wires. It would just give me a heart attack."
Yeah, he just and passing like pull the red wire. I'll only go into cardiac arrest.
I'll be fine. I think it's the red wire. It's the red wire. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the red wire.
I won't die with the red wire. Or is the red wire the lifeline? I can't remember.
Which one's the backup?
I hopefully won't die. Maybe I won't die.
So yeah, the time travel sequence was very good. The running jokes of Cap being America's ass.
Yeah,
the
that's
funniest
America's
shit. Ass. It was that, and for some reason, because Ant-Man doesn't quite fit with the Avengers, he's a little too cocky. He's a little off, and because he hasn't had as many movies, it almost feels like they're making the joke that Ant-Man isn't justified in the Avengers for some reason.
Yeah, it kind of seems like he's the specialist that they call him.
Yeah,
because they've got the core group of guys, and like, we need someone that can shrink down and get into the complex circuitry. Oh well, I know a guy. I can call him.
I got a guy who could be really tiny, like
you can just shrink it like tiny.
And that like running kind of gag seems really funny, especially when like everyone's doing the kind of like it's it's not like homoerotic, but it's like kind of faux homoerotic, like man jokes about guys between guys. Yeah. Like that can happen sometimes, and you just have Ant-Man go way too far. Like he leans like, yeah, I love Cap's ass. Not really the mood guy. Like
I kind of think for Ant-Man, it's just the case of he's your regular Joe character. He's just your human. He found a suit. He's now working for a guy that made the suit. He is the regular guy character in the whole show. Then when you see him trying to bump shoulder, or you see him rubbing shoulders with the other guys, the superheroes, he's just trying to act like them.
Oh, he's overcompensating a little bit.
Yeah, majorly overcompensating. Oh, that's how I choose to look at it anyway. Then you see Wasp, who's just kind of... I think she'd probably do the same thing as well. Wasp would try and probably do the same thing, or just try and make Ant-Man look even smaller than he is. Just like, yeah, sure, but I'm good at what I do, but you're fucking useless. That kind of bullshit.
Yeah, she shows up for I don't think she has dialogue.
I think she has a line.
I think she has like one line with him when they're reunited.
I think her one line is literally, "I read you, Cap."
Right.
And then that's just a callback to in Ant-Man and the Wasp when Ant-Man says, "Oh yeah, it was just me and Cap hanging out in an airport in Berlin," and she goes, "Oh, you're calling him Cap now?" That's right. Literally all it is.
But yeah, I remember her being there, and I'm like, all right, that's the girl from Ant-Man and the Wasp. I haven't seen that movie yet. I should probably see it.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
But at the same time, like, she shows up for like maybe 2 or 3 scenes towards the end. I'm like, okay, like she's there, but I don't know really who she is. So I kind of go, oh yeah, she's not a great character, but from what I'd see. Yeah, it's a good point that there would be people who are outside of the main circle of the Avengers who would just be trying to fit in and would just try a little too hard.
Yeah, I think that was one of the cool parts, just seeing how all these different people mesh with other people. Yeah, because I still think from Endgame there's still certain characters that fought in the final battle that aren't really Avengers, and I think you can include Doctor Strange, Ant-Man, Wasp, any of the other sorcerers, and quite a few other sort of big heroes that show up.
Like I wouldn't count the Guardians as being Avengers.
No. I think they're their own separate team.
Even, like Rocket Raccoon, maybe, because he could kind of get along with people, but everyone else is just a totally different entity by themselves. I do like that they've set up Guardians 3 with the core premise of
Thor will be in it.
Thor will be in it again, or Thor will cameo for at least 5 minutes before somebody kicks him off the ship.
Yeah.
And Star-Lord and Gamora is going to have to go all the way back to the start. Like, that was a nice little relationship they had together. Like, I do still like the idea of it being kind of like almost Captain Kirk banging the alien chick.
Yeah.
That type of idea. Like, hey, I'm a lone human wandering the stars, the infinite void. What am I going to do? Bang hot alien chicks.
Bang every female alien I come across.
And then he's stuck with a different Gamora who hasn't had a relationship with him.
Yeah.
Who is 5 years out of her time. Hasn't experienced any, like it just so happens that at the time of Thanos' attack was still willing to get out of Thanos' control and knew that would happen.
Actually, I did, I'll jump to the end for a second here, but the Tony Stark's snap was said to obliterate Thanos and all of his forces, which at the time included old Nebula and old Gamora. So I'm not sure if Gamora is going to be in any future Marvel productions.
I thought we saw her at the end.
You see Peter Quill looking on a computer trying to find Gamora.
Right.
She's in the battle pre-snap, but then once the snap happened, apparently this is confirmed by the writers.
All right.
That when Tony Stark eliminated Thanos and all of his forces, that included Nebula and Gamora.
Shit.
Which is pretty shit, because I like Zoe Saldana in the Guardians movies. Yeah. Maybe they can try and find some comic book way of bringing her back, because death is never permanent in comics. Because
of her being in Avatar, she's now part of 3 of the highest grossing movies of all time. Like, she's in all top 3 except for
top 3?
Avengers Infinity War. Obviously there's Titanic like kind of sit in the middle, but 3 out of 5.
Yeah.
Like, pretty good ratings.
Yeah, that's pretty damn good, yeah. She's a pivotal point in all of them as well.
Yeah.
Like, the Gamora story is always a standout feature in all the last 2 Avengers movies.
Yeah, and she's really good as Gamora. Like, it's a shame that we don't see her or I hope we see her in.
Yeah, I'm hoping that she comes back.
Like, there's all of the cosmos, like there's all the possibilities out there, or we could just get a new one. We could just find a new Gamora, try and drag one from another timeline. But hey, Doctor Strange, buddy, how's it going?
Yeah,
did enjoy his mentor. Again, not seen Doctor Strange, but like her interacting with the Hulk, and but I can't deal with the Hulk. I'm just gonna knock Hulk down. Bruce Banner, like, I'll bring your soul out. Let's have me and you. Let's have a chat. I
thought that was pretty cool, because I really, really liked the first Doctor Strange movie.
Yeah.
And seeing Tilda Swinton as the Sorcerer Supreme was really, really cool.
Sorcerer Supreme.
I think they call her the Ancient One. They don't call her the Sorcerer Supreme until the end.
Right.
Because the Sorcerer Supreme is a title. And so she was the Sorcerer Supreme in the comics, and that became a title which was passed down.
Right.
And I think in this one it's just she is called the Ancient One, no one knows her name, but her title is the Sorcerer Supreme of whatever universe they're in.
Yeah. But the time travels are all really good sequences. I do like that they do turn into like a weird mini heist.
Yeah, the time heist, which a lot of people are saying is a Doctor Who reference, because they have a time heist episode in Doctor Who.
Right.
I can't really remember. I stopped watching after.
It's called a time heist because they go back in time.
Yeah, they go back in time
and do a heist.
Yeah.
Let's maybe not overcomplicate things here, kids.
It was pretty fun to go back and see older sets from other movies. Like, you go back and you see the Ancient One. You go back and you see the Battle in New York. You get to see Cap against Cap, which is pretty cool.
It was pretty cool. Yeah, it was a good kind of weird mixed martial arts boxing match.
Yeah, and seeing how younger Cap kind of kicked the shit out of 5 years older Cap.
Yeah,
which I think was. I mean, eventually got the upper hand, but he had to fight slightly dirty, I think. Saying Bucky's alive. What crack?
I do like I do like that older Cap wins by being sneakier, because it does show that he's not the good old Boy Scout that he used to be.
Yeah, he's not the good soldier.
Yeah,
which I think works really well in showing the character development for a Cap.
But he still is America's ass.
Yeah.
The number of just shit posting on his Twitter must be unreal. Must be every frame of a movie he's in.
My favourite caption on any picture was the picture. It's a picture of a Cap leaning into one of the Shield Hydra members and just going, he's in Hail Hydra.
Yeah.
And the caption above it says, "When you've played the level so many times, you know this. You know how to do it quick." And it's just, Hail Hydra.
That is such a good joke, because I think it was like episode 1 of our current podcast. We were talking about the Hail Hydra controversy, where it's unbelievable that Cap would be saying Hail Hydra, and no, there was a reason for that, and it was explained. Just people jumped the gun and, as they are wont to do, just fucked everything up.
Yeah, but people need to read the Secret Empire book, because it's so fucking good. It's not as good as Injustice, which I think is directly. Marvel seen DC doing Justice and thought, oh, what would the Marvel version of that be? And obviously it's Captain America turning to the dark side.
And that was, I feel like there's a little nod. I feel like there's a little kind of like wink, nudge to the comic book fans, which I liked.
Right, I thought it was pretty cool.
And especially because it's Captain Marvel, like, giddily walking away, like, I got away with it.
Captain America just kind of going,
I just told a lie. And he just kind of walks away, and all the Hydra guys in the elevator are like, we win. Cap's on our side. No.
We got Captain America and just
I don't
Something
think
was wrong
he
about
did, but they're so smug. It just makes the scene that they're all kind of like, we win, evil wins the day,
Yeah.
and now we shall begin the next 1,000 years of our glorious Reich. And then you're like, no, dude, you just got played.
fucked over.
You got played by a fucking Boy Scout. Get fucked. But yeah, the time heist kind of concludes, and we're just about to see the kind of like, how do we do a snap?
Yeah.
And then Thanos appears.
Yeah.
A time travel Thanos. Like, he's Thanos from the past?
Thanos from the first Guardians movie, which would be in 2014. So it'd be 5 years post. 5 years previous, even.
And this Thanos is a completely different beast. And I love that.
Yeah, I think this Thanos, younger Thanos, sees that he's already done what he needs to, and that gives him a completely different level of arrogance.
Yeah.
He is kind of more ruthless.
My thing that I noticed is that Thanos in the first Infinity War movie is a weird kind of puppet master. He doesn't do very much personally.
He sends people out to get shit for him.
He has his people, he has his honor guard, he has his daughters, and they do the work for him. But in this one, Thanos is pretty much down to himself. Like, yeah, those honor guard are all there and they all get absolutely slaughtered.
Oh, yeah.
But this is a Thanos who's like, I'm fixing this myself. Like, I know this works. I need to see it through myself.
Oh, yeah.
And is a primal savage force.
Oh, yeah. He is not fucking around this time. He's seen that what he's done has worked. And he sees that people are working to try and stop it. He's thinking, no, I'm going to step up and I'm going to stop that shit now.
This requires the ruthlessness of a tyrant who's willing to like personally shotgun half the planet in the face to make things happen.
Oh, yeah. Although one thing I will say that works against him is that stupid fucking weapon. A lot of people are saying that he's taking the blades off the Thanos copter. And that's his weapon. I'm personally sticking with that reference, but it's the most impractical weapon of all time.
I wouldn't mind so much if there was clearly enough space for two hands.
Yeah,
in the middle, and have it like Darth Maul's lightsaber.
Yeah, but he doesn't use it like that.
He has like one
strike.
There's only enough space for one hand in there. It just bugged the hell out of me the entire movie.
The coolest part is when Thor with Mjolnir and Stormbreaker just does double lightning on him, and he's spinning to try and avoid it.
Yeah,
that's the coolest part of it, when he just spins both blades. But
how weird would it be? Like, it would be so much more perfect for that character if Thanos, being as brutal and savage as he is, just shows up with double space machetes.
Yeah,
all he has to do.
Fucking cool. But instead, he's got a weird double-edged sword with space enough for one of his giant purple Titan mitts.
Yeah.
With one blade pointing down the way. If he's holding it straight in front of him, like, he's got one blade pointing up towards his enemy, or if he's got one blade pointing out towards his enemy, the other blade is pointing at his armpit.
I thought they were double-edged.
No, it's double-edged in the sense of, if you're holding it straight in front of you, there's a blade going along this way, and there's a blade going along that way.
I thought both sides of it were double-edged.
If you look at the thing, there's just a blunt side. If you're looking at it, like I've been saying, is just the top side blunt. It's kind of like a katana.
Mm-hmm.
You've got the blunt side on the
so it's single-edged but double-sided.
Yeah,
in a weird way.
Blunt on the edge that would be facing you if you're holding it
towards you. I like the idea that that's why it has a sword. It's just confusing. But is it a two-ended? Is it a double-bladed sword? Well, technically yes.
Yes, it's double-bladed. But
if you think about it, in that time he's already killed them. Like, he's already throwing it through their faces.
He's already just like dead.
Yeah,
with his weird space metal that can break vibranium.
Yeah, the chip, like, Cap got a new shield, and it was good to see. It was kind of like, hey, we got this for you, buddy. Like,
that was the same shield.
Oh
that,
yeah,
that was his vibranium shield that Tony takes off of him at the end of Civil War.
Yeah, but like he gets it back, and it's like,
oh yeah,
you can be Cap again. Like we had this kit sitting as a spare. Don't tell anyone.
Yeah.
And then he gets it back, and then within like 30 seconds of an actual fight, it's shredded.
Oh yeah, it's destroyed.
But we get it gets made up for.
Oh yeah. But we'll backtrack about it because we're jumping around a bit. We'll try and keep it as methodical as we can.
Yes, as methodical as a podcast literally called Gibberpish can.
Yeah, I think we've jumped around so much, I don't think it counts. And this, you said half an hour at the start, we're approaching the hour mark now.
And we knew this would happen, but we power on anyway. So what did you want to go back to? Because at that point we've had Hulk's snap.
We've had Hulk snap, which I think was a really good character moment because it shows that Hulk previously has just been the big brute force.
Yeah.
But it's nice to see now that he has almost a key crucial role to play in the entire thing, because Tony Stark, I assume, just looks at the energy output of each stone and just makes a gauntlet that could contain that. Because
Yeah.
there's no way that he'd be able to match what the
frequencies
the
or
dwarves
any kind of things. And
made.
yeah,
using space metals. I think he
Yeah.
just goes, right, I need to make something that can contain the energy. But when they find out that the snap would kill a regular human being with just
yeah,
dose after dose after dose of gamma radiation, the Hulk steps up and goes, I'm the only one that can do this without dying.
yeah.
You need to let me do this.
I'm made for this moment. I
I'm
think
literally made for this moment. I thought that was just a really, really, really good scene.
I thought it
for
was more
Hulk.
to do with like, because this whole, like, the Infinity War starts with Hulk being beaten into submission by Thanos to the point of being afraid of Thanos.
Yeah,
He can't be Hulk for Infinity War. He has to use the Hulkbuster suit
yeah,
from Iron Man. So I like that from his point of view of character growth. Of he's now, like, he's so unafraid of Thanos now. He's willing to take Thanos' power for his own.
Oh yeah, he's now. I think it kind of becomes a sense of, I've studied my enemy, I know his power. I'm willing to use that power for myself. I'm quite interested to see how they're going to deal with that in subsequent Hulk movies or movies that the
Yeah.
Hulk's in. I think because they have stated that the damage to his arm is permanent.
Which is a shame, because one of the good things about Hulk is Hulk can regenerate
Yeah,
to a certain extent, not to the point of like Wolverine or Deadpool.
no, it's pretty much if he gets cut,
Yeah.
like bisected, his arm pops off. I'm pretty sure he can just regenerate an arm.
Yeah, but I don't know if Hulk's ever been battered hard enough to take him down to
Yeah,
like a
that's true.
single drop of blood, and then just kind
I
of
don't think it's a single drop of blood. I think if he's intact, he can regenerate. I think
Yeah.
Wolverine's healing factor is just to an nth degree that he can regenerate from a single skin flake.
yeah. And I think it's going to be a real shame if, like, as much as I enjoy Professor Hulk, I'm never going to see him Hulk out again, like really fucking lose
Yeah.
it, when there's so much that could be done. Although unfortunately we've already kind of past Planet Hulk, so
Yeah.
we'd find another thing. And unfortunately,
But the thing about Planet
Yeah.
Hulk was just seeing that Hulk's found a place where he can just smash the living shit out of anything, and he does not want to leave there.
yeah, I think the problem is though that every other Hulk storyline leads to the Hulk being imprisoned, or
Yeah.
starts with the Hulk being imprisoned and then battering his way out and
Right.
making an enemy of everyone on the planet.
I'd be kind of interested in seeing, and I would look forward to seeing a She-Hulk pop up.
Yeah,
Just have I think it's his cousin.
yeah, it's his cousin.
Yeah, just pop up and she could be some kind of new Hulk, but that's the thing, she's permanent Hulk.
Yeah,
So
and she has a better 50-50 split of her personality and
Yeah,
the
she-
Hulk side.
she's more human to the
She's
the
human with
aggressive
Hulk
power.
powers, not the Hulk.
Yeah.
So yeah, I
And-
think we could see that working. It'd be great. Like as we're talking about, like this movie phases out a few characters.
Yeah,
Hulk can't be that far. Well, there's not much left with the Hulk, I think.
yeah, which is a
Um,
shame because they never really used them. They used them for the Incredible Hulk, which is a so-so, not great, not terrible, just a
Yeah.
kind of, it's a good to advance the
Yeah.
plot line type movie, and you've seen him used in Thor Ragnarok, but again, outside of the main ensemble movies, there's not been a shit ton of Hulk.
Which is like another reason why I find Planet Hulk a shame, is because that's where he's a great character. Like,
Yeah.
he's an individual, is an interesting character, and that's why it's like, oh, we're not doing that one. I guess we'll never get to see the Hulk as a character now.
Yeah.
We'll just kind of figure it out as we go. So it was like, I think if they're going to do something else, it would be like She-Hulk related, or another like Scar or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, Scar would be pretty cool.
Um,
But to bring Scar in, you need to have him go through the whole Planet Hulk thing, because Scar is Hulk and the
Royal Guard's champion.
the Royal Guard who has the old power or whatever it is. They have
Yeah.
a kid,
All I'm going to say is,
which
He
can
was
Hulk
like-
out at the age
he
of
was-
5.
he was a gladiator champion. You think someone's not sending him women?
Yeah,
There's a chance he's got a
getting
bastard son up there somewhere.
he's getting some alien booty.
Yeah.
That was the cool thing about Scar. He was 5 years old and he could Hulk out.
Yeah.
Imagine disciplining that child. Like, oh, you broke the TV. You know what? I forgive you.
I was going to be a spanking, but then I realised you can punch through the house, so
Yeah,
we're not
you
going to
broke
do
the
that.
house last time.
So yeah, we get Hulk's snap, and
Hulk
then
snap.
that lead to problematic issues for
Yeah.
like further down the line.
Then the double agent Nebula scene, which was pretty cool because everyone's
Yeah.
just. It was funny, and
Oh, my good buddy Nebula. Oh shit!
she's just kind of going. I'm pretty sure there was one point where War Machine turns and goes, "Hey Nebula, we did good," and gives her the punch in the shoulder, and she just goes, "Oh yes, that's who I am."
She's essentially summoning Thanos to like the place and time to just wreck the Avengers shit.
Yeah.
Which is like as far as like disaster movies go, the Avengers always been kind of pushing it. Like it used to be back in the day, it was like Independence Day, set the kind of bar with blowing up the White House, and now it's just gotten further and further and further down the line. We now just wrecked an entire small island for the Avengers facility.
Oh yeah.
Just to have somewhere to have a fight in. It was amazing.
It was pretty awesome.
You want to talk about a shock and awe approach to warfare? Thanos nails it.
Oh yeah.
So then there's the final battle scene.
Oh,
I think we're left with just that.
Yeah, we're wrapping up the final battle scene. I'm glad that this is going to take the longest because I've watched a lot of movies in my 27, almost 28 years on this planet. I have never been more ecstatic than watching this scene. I don't think I stopped smiling for a second. I was grinning like a fucking idiot.
This is like all the battles for Return of the King mashed into one.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's just so many bits to talk about. I mean, the first battle when you see Tony Stark, Thor, and Steve Rogers walking towards him, you're just thinking the fucking Marvel Trinity's here.
Yeah.
And you start smiling. Then you see Thor grabbing the two hammers. From start to finish, there's not a dull moment at the battle of that battle. Yeah. It's just so fucking good. It's so well done as well.
The one breath you get is just before Doctor Strange opens up the gates.
Yeah.
And you get all the Wakandans come through, all the monks come through, various other Avengers pop through, just like, oh, we're alive too. And like Peter Parker shows up, all these people just appear back on Earth.
There was a really cool callback at that point because it calls back to Winter Soldier when Sam Wilson and Steve Rogers are out running, and Steve Rogers keeps running past him going, on your left.
Yeah.
Like, you should be ashamed of yourself, on your left. At one point you just hear, because at this point the shield's broken, because the only person left standing to fight Thanos is Captain America. Thor gets pushed aside despite having two hammers.
Yeah.
You think he'd be unstoppable, but PTSD is such a thing.
I can't remember what happens to him.
Thor just literally gets batted aside.
Oh yeah. I was thinking he got gassed because he's fat. Like he threw a couple punches and went, whew, forgot how to move with all this fat on me.
that was one of my least favourite things about Thor, because Thor Ragnarok is him dealing with PTSD. He lost his hammer, he lost everything, but he eventually beats Hela because he realises that he's stronger than the hammer. Infinity War, same thing, dealing with the after effects of Ragnarok. In the start of the movie, he gets the new hammer, he builds back up to that super strong power. Then Endgame happens, and then he's just, and we're right back to basically before Ragnarok again. It's just thinking it's a good way to limit Thor, but I just don't think it was the right way to do it.
I look at it and
ultimately, I can't think of a better way.
Yeah, because you need to. It's the thing with the same way they kept kind of Captain Marvel in check in this movie is to basically take her out of it as much as possible.
Make her pissed off for a movie.
If she shows up, like there is no Thanos problem. Like Thanos is not a problem when you've Captain Marvel on the planet. Oh, yeah. But at the same time, you need to have that character there because we need him as the character. We don't need Thor's superpower until the end. So I'd say that like he's there for the start of it, and he makes a decision to behead Thanos, which is hilariously like brutal. It's like, whoa, we're going this hard, this fast, right then. Yeah. We have a movie on our hands.
We have now just set the tone for Thor in this movie. He isn't given no shit.
Yes, but then it becomes Thor has regrets, and Thor as much as that helped, it didn't help at all. Yeah. So
much as it was closure for him, it didn't further the plan much.
I was kind of hoping to see slightly less fat Thor.
I was done with fat Thor by the time they left New Asgard. I was fucking done with fat Thor.
I still think fat Thor's hilarious. Every now and again,
it was funny, but just in terms of the story, I was like, right, we get it. And you know for a fact you're inviting other people, just going, Marvel are so 2003. Fat shaming people is prevalent in movies again.
I did see the fat phobia things. They were hilarious. We're not going to talk about the SGW side of this movie because it's too funny. Like it's too much fun in this movie to indulge the SGWs.
Let's not dull it with bullshit like that.
But there's one last. Fat Thor has one last purpose. We're not there yet, but we do have the awesome battle scene, and I've never seen a movie control a room this much.
Yeah,
everyone is quiet. I was in a room full of like people who are like just out of school. I went at like 4:00 in the afternoon. I was like, I'm gonna be stuck with my fucking screaming kids listening to this movie. I've been waiting like 10 years for this thing. I need this movie to be great, and they're gonna fuck it up for me. Nothing. There's
no chewing, no over the top bullshit.
There's a couple of like moments where everyone can enjoy it, like Tony Stark's daughter saying shit. That gets the whole room every time.
Yeah, I was pissed myself laughing at that point. That was pretty funny.
Because kids swearing is hilarious. And there's a couple like Natasha Romanoff dying. That gets everyone going, oh.
Yeah, there was a couple.
Steve Rogers picking up Mjolnir.
Dude, I'm not.
The entire room cheered.
I fucking cheered as well. Although I was with one person that's just kind of, it was fucking lame, bro. my entire.
It's been so foreshadowed. We all knew it was coming. Dude, shut the fuck up.
Because I remember at one point, the entire cinema was just going, yes, fucking Captain America's picked up the hammer. At one point, from the back of the cinema, I shit you not, word for word what the guy said. Oh yeah, Captain America picking up the hammer. That shit is new. I was fucking pissed myself.
You said again, like, you know, he budged it like 2 movies ago.
Yeah,
it's been foreshadowed, but like the importance is the moment, and this is the moment when it feels like you're about to hear somebody, yeah, bitch, fights on. Like,
yeah, but that guy just went, this shit is new.
This shit's new.
I think he was meaning it just like, this shit's cool or this shit is awesome, but not. I don't know, but either way, it was funny.
Just imagine somebody going, oh yeah, this shit's on fleek. Like, excuse me?
Do we still use that now? But one of the people that I went to see it with was just he doesn't get excited about anything. He'll go and see any movie, but he won't like it. He's just one of those assholes.
Right.
But he was just sitting there going, it's fucking lame, dude. And I went, how's it lame? It's one of the best parts of the cinema. Because we went to go and get a drink afterward, and we're just sitting, eating a McDonald's, drinking our milkshakes and stuff. And it was fucking lame. All those people just showing up. It was too much, man. I mean, I asked him, what would you have done? He went, you know what I've done? Punisher. Like, Punisher would have died in 2 seconons.
Punisher's a person.
Daredevil.
He's just really good with guns.
Yeah. I'll bring Daredevil in there. Daredevil would have died in 2 seconds. There's no one from the Netflix cinematic universe that would survive this battle.
Daredevil's key ability is his ability to hear people's locations. In a all-out war.
Yeah, in a battle that was
in an apocalypse.
Yeah, there was millions of people.
That guy is going to be having a seizure.
Yeah, he's just twitching on the ground. But
is everyone everywhere? What am I doing?
Yeah, he's just punching himself in the face. But that was the only.
There's only one option. I have to kick my own ass. You go ahead, Daredevil. We'll just do the thing
Matt
over
Murdock,
here.
You do you. But yeah, that was the only complaint I heard about it. Everyone, as you're walking at the cinema, people just go, dude, that was fucking amazing.
Yeah.
And I didn't hear a single minus that dude that I went to the cinema with. Yeah. There was about 5 of us that went, and everyone else was just going, dude, what about this part, that part, that part, and he's going, no, I just didn't like it that much. It was all lame. I went, you're so wrong. You're so
trying so hard, bro. I'm proud of you for being that edgy, but
the whole way home, I was just saying, I was like, dude, you need to drop the whole I hate everything shtick because it's not funny anymore. But it was just bad. I mean, Professor Hulk, is that even a character? I mean, yeah, it's a character.
It's a serious character. It recurs multiple times.
Yeah, let's skip past that part because that's a tin of worms that I want to close.
There was one thing for me that they kind of passed the football scene with the gauntlet where they're like, okay, we just need to stop Thanos. I loved that, like the following through. And one thing that caught me off guard though, Spider-Man's extra suit thing, where like he has the little bit attached to him and it's the 8 other limbs.
Oh, the spider limbs, yeah.
And it's like, okay, kill mode activate. You're like, what's kill mode gonna do? Holy shit!
Yeah, he just stabs people in the brain.
The machine's AI just goes, everything's a target, and it like proceeds to wreck the shit of 10 of these weird dog monsters.
Oh, the Outriders.
Yeah, and they just like they all start piling on top of him, and it was great. Like, but it's like that came out of nowhere.
Spider-Man: Homecoming.
No.
Alright, in Spider-Man: Homecoming, he gets a suit from Tony Stark, but it's limited. It has all these different capabilities, but he's running what Tony Stark calls the training wheels protocol. So eventually, him and his best friend, a guy called Ned Leeds is his name. Yeah. He's basically the sort of the friend / man in the chair that helps him. Right. They're fucking around with the suit. They find a sort of import, and they start saying, "Oh, what's the training wheels protocol?" So they disable that, and then his first venture out with the new suit with all the unlocked features, he comes across the people that he's been tailing. I think it's the Shocker and a bunch of his cronies. Yeah. He comes across those guys, and the suit has the AI. I think it's called Karen.
Yeah.
Or he calls it Karen. And Karen says, or what version of the suit would you like to activate? And he says, any version that's going to help me take out these bad guys. And he goes, okay, activating instant kill mode. And Peter just goes, no, I don't want to kill anybody, just make it regular. But yeah, instant kill mode's a callback to Spider-Man: Homecoming.
That's good. I saw that, I was like, wow, that went dark fast. Yeah. And it passes off to Falcon, I think, and then it goes to...
Yeah, he passes it to Falcon.
And then that goes to Hawkeye.
To Valkyrie. No, because
because it goes...
Hawkeye takes it from I mean,
I think it was Hawkeye, Spider-Man.
Yeah. I can't believe we're doing
Falcon.
a play-by-play. Initially, I think Hawkeye,
Tony Romo,
Simon Zebo, Stuart Hogg.
Ocho Cinco came back for a game. That was weird.
Jose Canseco, what the fuck is this bullshit? But
the guy in a luchador mask. That was weird. And it goes.
Hawkeye has it from when the building falls. Yeah. I think the Hulk still has it on.
Yeah.
And then he passes it off to Clint. Clint fights his way out of the rubble.
Clint going through the tunnels is horrifying.
That was amazing. I fucking loved that.
That
scene.
was so that was on your that. You look at it going, I think he's gonna make this one.
That was Resident Evil type shit. I loved that. That was beautifully shot.
It was great, and it's great action cam, and it's the kind of constant build up of are they gonna get this out of the way?
Yeah.
Is it gonna get to kind of safety?
Yeah.
I think. Because I think they actually passed. It's not that they passed the gauntlet. I think Spider-Man still has a gauntlet. He gets passed between Falcon. I remember that because it's Falcon passed it to. He puts Peter Parker on Valkyrie's horse.
Yeah, because I think it starts off. Black Panther takes it from Clint, gets wiped out almost immediately. Because he has this badass moment of Clint, pass me the gauntlet. I'm not going to try and do the Wakandan accent because it'd be racist as all hell. But he takes the gauntlet, he runs for a bit, drop kicks a couple of Outriders, and then gets instantly dropped to the floor. I think he fucking line out throws it to Spider-Man, and Spider-Man just started running through it. And he does. Yeah. Spider-Man and the gauntlet just get passed around because he goes from Valkyrie catches him, I think Falcon
pulls him out of the pile of corpses that he made.
He throws him up there. He thwips onto Mjolnir.
Yeah.
Mjolnir carries him around for a bit. Valkyrie catches him and then he lands down there. Captain Marvel intercepts him. And then you get the fucking brilliant scene of Spider-Man and his 12 mothers.
The one thing though, just before we hit that, because I actually quite enjoyed that scene, I want to talk to you about it.
Yeah.
But there was one part of, and it was nothing to do with the actual thing. I think it's just because of the cinema I was in. Some of the CGI of Valkyrie's Pegasus, which I love. It's the fact that we have all this advanced space technology and a Pegasus.
She's got a horse.
But there was something about there was
and
a bit
dragon's tooth.
There was a bit of an artifact thing issue. There was a lot of pixelation. Stuff was moving too fast. Yeah. So for that scene, almost that's it. Well, I'm gonna buy the whole thing on Blu-ray anyway when it comes out. But
as in the movie, or are you going the whole Infinity Saga?
I'm thinking the whole thing. I don't have them. I don't have a physical copy.
I'm kind of wishing I'd waited for a bit. But to be fair, I've kind of got them all darted around, so I may as well just buy them as they come out.
Well, I might just go for the box. Because
I don't blame you.
With Disney sealing everything behind the vault for the next decade or so, it's going to get a bit iffy. And getting it in the next big box would be awesome. You're like, what do you want to watch? Let's watch the entire Infinity Saga. Here it is in one box.
Yeah, here's
there's
3,000 hours, 3,000 minutes of footage. I think that's pretty cool.
And but there was just some artifacting there on the screen. I was like, nah, that kind of looked a bit shitty. And it was just.
I think it's just because she was meant to be moving that quickly. Maybe they hope you didn't notice.
No, but I could see pixels, and I'm like, that's not good. So I don't know what it was. Part of me just freaked out, and I'm like, that was a great I know where people are, I know where they're moving. I wanted to see that in a bit more clarity. So hopefully by Blu-ray.
I can't believe we fucking glossed over one of my favourite parts of this whole battle.
What?
Pepper Potts suiting the fuck up.
Oh yeah,
that was fucking badass. When you see her land and the faceplate opens, I was like,
was it Rescuer?
Fuck yeah, I was like, I turned to my brother who was sitting there with us, like, see, fucking Pepper Potts is in the fight now.
Well, when we saw her, Iron Man's been working on something for her, and you're like, it's a blue and gold Iron Man suit. I remember that from somewhere, and it's just part of your brain.
Motherfucking rescue.
You're working your way through. I'm like, I remember Pepper Potts is at some point in an Iron Man suit. Maybe he's building that, and they actually use it, and she shows up, and it's awesome that she just has octopus laser arms.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
That was pretty awesome,
but yeah, as you say, after the whole pass the ball scene, we get to the fucking charge. The kind of female fronted charge.
Yeah.
Which, I love it. It's awesome. My one gripe is, does Carol Danvers really need an honor guard? I don't think so.
Does she?
She just punched through a starship.
Yeah, that was one of the most badass reintroductions when all the gun, when she does
basically Superman re-entry move.
No, she does Thanos is getting his shit pushed in by Scarlet Witch, which was fucking awesome to see.
Yeah.
Scarlet Witch just going, you killed Vision. I don't even know who you are, bitch. Oh, you fucked up now. Scarlet Witch just picks him up and just burns him. And then he does the rain fire thing. Then they all start firing down on the planet, and then instantly turn up to see Carol Danvers, and she's just fucking dragon punches through shit. She's just blowing up things left, right, and centre.
And it's awesome. It's like, okay, we saw her do it with a Kree ship before, and you're like, okay, but that was it was one of like an armada.
Yeah,
and then she goes through
Thanos'
capital ship.
Yeah,
like it's fucking paper.
No, is it called the Obsidian? I think it might be called
the burnt up piece of shit now. That's what it's called.
the dead ass ship.
Dead ass ship. It's like dead ass ship. There you go. But yeah, she goes through that, and it's
paper.
My one thing was like, a part where he was going, does she need it? But I'm like, she doesn't need an honor guard. But I do need to see this scene.
Yeah, I do need to see that.
We just see this all out assault of just these. Like, I think with part of my theory behind it was. Because somebody was saying, oh no, I don't like that scene. I mean, why do we need a female fronted scene? I'm like, because 5 minutes ago, the key action scene was the Trinity of Thor, Iron Man, Captain America, just punching Thanos in the face, like just them punching each other in the face. Like, do you remember the Team 4-Star Bridged episode where it's Piccolo and Android 17 just kicking each other?
Yeah, and
you have Android 18 on the sidelines going, this could not be any stupider. I imagine that as being any given woman in the audience at that point who's been dragged along or who's been seeing a couple of these movies is like, I'm not that interested, and in this movie they've killed off Black Widow, the female Avenger. She's the original female Avenger, as much as there are other female characters.
She's the OG female.
As a cynical marketing move, that was a great scene to be like, look, if you're a woman, you're being annoyed by how this movie's turned out, do not worry, there are all of these amazing female characters. And that's
all these badass women.
There's not a woman on that screen that you go, what the fuck is she doing up there?
Yeah.
The closer you get to that is Mantis, but she's funny, so I'll let it pass.
Let's not downplay how strong Mantis is.
Yeah, she does that to one point. Thanos. Yeah, she at one point had him like all fucked up.
Yeah, when they're trying to get off the gauntlet before
she fucks him up on Saturn as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I just watched that and I'm like, she is kind of powerful, but like maybe it's just not a power I can see on the battlefield.
Yeah, I think if Peter Quill didn't pistol whip Thanos, I think she would have been able to subdue him for a bit longer. Yeah. But let's put it this way, Thanos is one of the most mentally and physically strong beings in the entire Marvel universe. She just manages to calm that motherfucker down.
Yeah.
For quite a bit of time.
Yeah. So you see that scene and it was just awesome. You could see every one of them in play. You know, oh shit, this is like there is more than enough female potential in the Marvel universe.
Yeah, I think they might be trying to get some kind of A-Force movie on the go, which is just all female.
Yeah,
Avengers.
And based on how it's done, you'd watch it.
Yeah, I'd watch it.
So yeah, that charge is amazing, and just seeing Carol Danvers, just like you think you've seen Fast before in this movie, like, oh, everything's moving so fast. Her just going forward.
Yeah.
Her like from 0 to 60 in like a blink of an eye is like, whoa.
Did you see she gets another Goku moment? When she's fighting Thanos and Thanos is just headbutting her and she's just taking it.
Yeah.
How is that not Frieza fighting Goku when Frieza punches Goku in the face and Goku just turns? That is yet another fucking Dragon Ball moment.
But that's what I like, is that she
is, at this point, I think she is female Goku.
Female Goku.
I'm fine with that.
There was the scene of her and Thanos going toe to toe.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of like a mixed martial arts thing again. Like, it's another kind of like, it was kind of similar to like how Black Widow was taking people down in earlier movies, where it's like she's getting up on them and using like her body weight to drag down a bigger opponent. She has that moment with Thanos, and at the same time it is also just straight up throwing punches.
Yeah. Like
Thanos has to pull an Infinity Stone out of the gauntlet.
He has to rip the power stone out.
Put it in his hand and then just punch her in the chest to move her.
Yeah.
You're like, whoa. This is the, like, when we've been wondering how Captain Marvel plays in, and after seeing Captain Marvel, oh, that's the power level she's on. I think that goes, actually she's a bit further on than you thought she was.
I think at this point she's built her powers, she's trained her powers from Captain Marvel. She's had fucking 20 odd years since the events of Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
To just build her powers. Fucking 25 years odd to build her powers. And because of the effects of the Tesseract, she's ageless or something like
that.
Yeah. So she's now honed her powers to a totally different degree. Mm-hmm. So it's now getting to the point where she could probably just, if she wanted to, like, just stick her hand into Thanos' chest and rip out his giant purple Titan heart.
Well, I mean, when they do the initial assault at the start of the movie, her, like, she punches through the bottom, that, like, she smashes through the building that Thanos sends, you know, to hold him in place.
Yeah.
And, like, has him in a chokehold.
Yeah.
By herself, and then, like, someone else comes in to, like, grab one arm, and then someone else grabs another arm. And it's like, oh shit. Yeah. And then you have her like her scene of like, we need to, like, getting the gauntlet out. and it was awesome. I just watching that scene, I was like, huh, this is how you do the kind of like female positive moments, right, without being a total dick about it. So
yeah, and it was definitely one of the many highlights of the battle scene.
Yeah. And then we hit the kind of emotional low point of Thanos finally gets the gauntlet and Tony Stark rips the Power Stones out, or all the Infinity Stones out.
Yeah, which is preceded by yet another good character moment when Tony Stark, because it looks like the battle's on the verge of being won, and he turns to Doctor Strange and say, so in that reality that you've seen us winning, what happens? And he says, if I tell you what happens, it's not going to happen.
Like, is this the moment? Is this the 1 in 40 million?
Yeah. And then you see the whole him holding up the finger with the one finger, and it's just okay. This is the moment that we don't want to happen, but it is going to happen anyway. And for the story to end in a satisfying way, it kind of had to happen, I think. Yeah,
because Tony gets the Power Stone, or gets the stones.
He gets the Infinity Stones.
His the kind of nano machine aspect of his suit comes out again, where it morphs to form its own gauntlet, and he snaps, and it's like, whoa. it's that happened, like it happened pretty fast, and with the classic line, I am Iron Man, bang.
A lot of people were complaining. It's just, how did he rip the Infinity Stones out of the gauntlet? And I said, well, he made the other gauntlet. Yeah, maybe it's just Stark technology, recognizing Stark technology is like, you eat, I'm taking these.
Yeah, like does he rip it out? Does Thanos have his own gauntlet? Or
Thanos takes
he's stealing the Stark gauntlet,
and he goes to grab his...
there was a secret eject button. No one noticed it.
He tapped the palm 3 times. Yeah. the buttons just pop out.
And and we see all of Thanos' forces disintegrate.
Yep.
Including Thanos just taking one last seat. Something about him sitting down is weird.
Yeah.
Like that's his thing.
I think for me it's weird seeing Thanos sit down because he's that fucking huge.
Yeah.
It always looks like he always looks hunched over.
Yeah. He doesn't fit sitting down, but at the same time, a lot of the time it's a really iconic thing for Thanos to be sitting.
Yeah.
But it's...
it's all he did for the first couple of movies. He just sat down and looked at people.
Occasionally he just wasn't in the movie. He just would be there to sit down.
Yeah.
And this is where it all ends. This is how the Infinity War ends, basically. And this is
the Infinity Saga.
But we, as we've seen with Hulk, who loses like an entire limb, pretty much, Tony gets fucking annihilated.
Yeah.
Watching him all shredded up and all burnt out and stuff was like horrifying.
Yeah, that was a strange one to see, because throughout these entire movies you're used to the idea of, they're superheroes, they'll bounce back.
Yeah.
But then, because it was a bit of foreshadowing when you see Hulk putting on the gauntlet, she's I'm the only one that can do this. I can take the radiation. No other human can do this.
Hint, hint, nudge, nudge.
Yeah, hint, hint, nudge, nudge. Tony, don't do this. But when you see Tony doing this, because there's always that thing that Tony could never... There was that argument from Avengers Assemble. So that you never want to make the sacrifice play. You never want to, put the team ahead of you, that kind of bullshit. And then you see him putting everyone ahead of him.
Yeah.
Like even his own... Because he finally got what he wanted through all the movies. He just wanted to settle down. Wife, child. He finally got all that. But
just be a relaxed billionaire.
Yeah, just use his billions. Just
yeah.
Make some shit. Nah, that's not going to happen, unfortunately. The job that he does is not going to let him.
Yeah.
Then he does the snap.
And it's the goodbyes, which is it's weird that for some reason, like, his wife and mother of his child gets a little less time, but has more to say with just a few words, like the "you can rest now," which is a call back to the hour dialogue about, like, could you figure out time travel and then just leave it alone, or would you have to get involved? And he's going to have to get involved.
Yeah.
And then this is how it ends, and we knew this is how it was going to end, and that he would die.
Yeah.
To fix this, to kind of solve the Thanos problem, But for some reason, like, Peter Parker gets the scene more.
Yeah, he kind of steals that scene from what you would think would be a fairly Pepper and Tony heavy scene.
Yeah,
you're thinking, right, surely they're going to close that loop. No, it's Peter. He's going, "We won, sir. We won, sir.
Tony, don't be dead, Tony.
Dad,
please."
I mean Tony."
Man, he just lets out the dad, and everyone goes, "Oh, that's awkward."
To be even worse if it's an Uncle Ben. Uncle Ben, I mean Tony, I mean Dad, I mean what?
I mean, yeah, did you know, Pepper, you want to take this one? I'm good, I'm done.
Pepper, I'm going to go and web swing.
I'm gonna leave now.
You see him finding a circular lamppost and he's just going round trying to work it.
You okay there, Peter? No.
God, Tony Stark, Uncle Ben.
Then Dad.
Then Dad, then Uncle Ben again. I'm not doing good.
This is a bad day.
A bad end.
So we then have the horrifically resonant funeral.
Yeah.
Because everything gets wiped up, and it is now just a case of saying goodbye to Tony Stark, the original. Captain America's the first Avenger, but Tony's the original.
Yeah. He's the Captain America may have been the first Avenger.
Yeah,
but Tony Stark brought people together. Yeah, brought the group together. And
that funeral scene is like, it's a great one. Like it's a weird nostalgia trip to go back to showing. I can't remember who the guy's name is, but he's the executive from Iron Man 1. Like he's part of
John
Stark
Favreau.
Industries. Yeah, John Favreau.
He plays Happy Hogan in the movies.
And him just being there for the funeral and just kind of like making sure everybody's okay, like being the Godfather, in a weird way.
I think he'd probably be something with Morgan.
I really hope that he's in more movies as like the kind of like tie-in to.
Well, he's in Spider-Man Far From Home.
All right.
He's the kind of.
Oh yeah, I did see him in that. Yeah, I saw the trailer for that movie as well.
Yeah, he's the kind of mentor character to Peter,
which is good. Like I like that.
Yeah, I mean, I've always been a fan of John Favreau. People don't like Iron Man 2. I thought Iron Man 2 was great, but I've always been a fan of John Favreau.
So the funeral's there, and where I said Thor has one more duty, and it's to relieve you of the emotional burden of that fucking scene. Because by the end of it, you're like, I'm really washed out.
Yeah.
Fat Thor's back.
What's Fat Thor going to do?
Oh, what's he going to do? Rub his belly of it? Oh, he's fucking going to do it. So yeah, like that was when you say like you didn't like Fat Thor and you thought it was overplayed. I'm like, okay, I needed that. Yeah. And that, again, like talking about control of an audience, that is another one that was kind of like everyone got the laugh. Everyone kind of like, whew, we got through that without crying like a bitch.
Fat Thor's definitely that kind of. They picked me up. It's just, oh god. What we're going to do now? What is the next step? Like, oh wait, there's Thor. He's fat. he's got a beard. He looks like Lebowski.
The Lebowski jokes during the time travel setup scene. Jesus Christ!
My favorite joke actually was when he's sitting in the chair with the sunglasses on. He's got a beer in his hand. I think Rocket Raccoon's trying to talk to him, and Nebula just goes, "Is he dead?" Brilliant.
The best thing is like we're talking about like Iron Man making the jokes. Like Iron Man makes the joke with the flashback scene to Avengers 1. Obviously, Thor has no idea who the Big Lebowski is.
Yeah.
Iron Man makes the joke anyway. Coming through like move it Lebowski, and no way Thor's going to go, hey, that hurts my feelings. Yeah. Like Thor's just like going, big what? But Tony is like, I'm making the joke anyway. Don't give a shit. Pulling my little cart and I don't give a shit. Yeah. And so like we come back to Fat Thor saying goodbye to Scotland, giving the kind of Queen of Valhalla title to Valkyrie.
Yeah, he kind of cedes the new Asgardian throne to Valkyrie.
Which I'm like, okay, cool. Like I guess if he's done, like if he is still kind of soul searching after all this is done, it makes sense for him to not try and lead an entire entire like town of refugees. Yeah, it does make sense in that regard. But at the same time, is that all the Asgardians that are left? Like a small time like worth. Yeah,
I was surprised if there was any of them left because Thanos destroyed the ship. Yeah, and I doubt Asgardians can survive in space.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be some jettison pods and stuff you can maybe get away.
I mean, Valkyrie survived. Yeah, maybe she took a whole shit ton of people with her.
There was some way to get off that ship, but there's no way Thor should be leading those people when he's not sure of who he is anymore.
I think because Thor signed on for 5 more movies.
5.
I mean, it's unconfirmed, but I've heard between 2 and 5 movies that he signed on for, but I know he's extended his contract to include the new Avengers and subsequent
couple of Thor movies.
Thor 4 and Guardians of the Galaxy 3 are the 2 that he's definitely signed on to do. Yeah. And Thor 4 is set to introduce Beta Ray Bill.
All right.
Who's I can't remember the name of his race, but he's basically a person who can take he could. In the comics, he could lift Mjolnir. Yeah. And he was worthy enough to do it, so Odin created Stormbreaker for him in the mainline Marvel universe. Right. But obviously they can't do that, so maybe he goes back in time, steals Mjolnir from himself, and gives that to Beta Ray Bill. I don't know. But it'd be cool to see Beta Ray Bill show up, because he's another Thor-like character, but he's a bit more.
He's a bit more weird and out there. He's a Guardians. He would be a Guardians character. Yeah. Actually, thinking about it, do we know where Mjolnir went?
Mjolnir just went back to Asgard, back to Thor. Because remember, at the end of this whole movie ends with.
I mean, like, he's got Stormbringer and Mjolnir.
Yeah, no, when Steve takes the stones back.
Yeah.
So he gives the time stone back to the Ancient One, so technically the Eye of Agamotto still functions as the Eye of Agamotto.
Yeah. Which
will probably play into Doctor Strange too. He takes Mjolnir with him and goes back to Asgard to put the ether, the reality stone, back in Jane Foster.
Yeah.
So he takes Mjolnir with him.
Right.
So Mjolnir's back on Asgard because they reset the timelines, which is a fact that a lot of people seem to forget.
Yeah. So everything still plays out the way it does, so that it kind of closes the loop.
It closes the loop, but as they say, as the Hulk explains, time travel works in the Marvel universe in the sense of you don't rupture that timeline. The mainline timeline continues, but from that point you take, just say I travel back in time, I take my wallet from that timeline.
Mm.
The main timeline continues if I put the wallet back.
Yeah. Or a new one
continues from the point where I steal the wallet and then something different happens. But if I go back and take the wallet back, mainline timeline continues, but the alternate timeline also continues.
Yeah.
So it's all about different actions create different paths.
It's actively creating a multiverse as opposed to just letting one timeline run ahead. Yeah. So that's as we probably should get to the point where we explain that Steve Rogers going back in time and living his life.
Yeah, he lives his life with Peggy Carter, which is going to lead to a very awkward conversation if at any point he's babysitting Sharon Carter, Peggy Carter's niece. It's just because that's going to be like, oh, you're Sharon Carter. I don't want to remember the future now.
Yeah. So that was. It's a weirdly. It all happens off screen. My favorite part of it is that Bucky says, "Want to tell me about it?" He's like, "No, just for me. It's just my thing.
Yeah,
I need to do it for myself. You knew it was going to happen because it's a good point that Bucky knows it's going to happen.
Yeah,
it's not. See you soon. It's see you later. Like I know what you're going to do.
Yeah, but that's what the amount of times again it's heavily foreshadowed in the movies. And the amount of times he flicks open the compass and he sees the picture of Peggy Carter.
Yeah,
he's thinking, "There's time travel. I don't think Cap's going to die. I think Cap's going to age out."
Yeah, and that's talk about a bittersweet moment. Old man Cap looks a lot like Joe Biden. It's a really weird thing, but I just thought because I saw it, I think it was like a day or two after Joe Biden announced to be running for US president, and I'm like, that guy looks like Joe Biden.
I heard in an original draft of the script that was going to be the Stan Lee cameo. Old Man Steve was going to be Stan Lee because when he shows up, and obviously it's going to be Stan Lee just going.
That'd be a bit like maybe it's now with the context of Stan Lee being dead.
Yeah,
that would have been a bit much. That would have been really hard to take in the cinema. Just sitting there going, wow, this is because
it would explain all the cameos. Maybe that's just Stan Lee. It's Old Man Steve checking up on shit.
That would be amazing. But it does mean we have to explain how he gets to the world for Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah.
Like, how does he become a DJ there?
He was a hairdresser or something like that because he cuts Thor's hair.
Yeah, he was the hairdresser. Like,
I mean, how does he end up talking to the Watchers? There's a lot of things you need to explain.
There'd be a lot of questions.
But I still think it would be pretty cool just to see, Old Man Steve and it's Cap and it's Stan Lee just passing off the shield to Sam Wilson.
Yeah. It would have been, for me, it would have been a bit much. But
I think it would have been cool, but at the same time, I think they did the right thing. And now that you've said that he looks like Joe Biden, I can't get it out of my head.
I was really stuck in there, isn't it?
It's weird because I'm rewatching Parks and Recreation.
Yeah.
And Joe Biden pops up in a couple of episodes that I just watched.
Oh.
Because the main character, Leslie Knope, played by Amy Poehler, she's a huge fan of the American government. And she fucking idolizes Joe Biden.
Weird thing to be a fan of, but okay.
Yeah, it's her whole weird character arc, but she fucking idolizes Joe Biden. And she gets to meet Joe Biden in an episode, and now that I can vividly see what Joe Biden looks like, I'm thinking back to Old Man Steve, and it's in there now.
The only thing is Joe Biden has better skin, because it's
slightly better hair on Old Man Steve.
I mean, he went back to he went back to 1940s.
Yeah,
because he died or he disappeared after World War II. So he would have had to age, 70 years, yeah, close enough.
Yeah.
At least 70 years from being a 28-year-old. Well, I suppose he'd be aging from being current day Steve, who is, if you ignore him being frozen, probably in his 40s.
But that still begs the question.
It's 110.
Yeah.
Jesus. 110, still capable of full and able to walk himself to that bench.
Yeah, but I think the super soldier serum was kicking in overtime, even get him to that point. 'Cause I think Peggy would have died.
Could you imagine if he didn't live? Like if he died, like something killed him, something like he just aged out. Like he was like, I've probably got enough time. I've got enough gas in the tank to get to that point.
Yeah.
He just dies, and like those two are sitting there like for an hour, walking around going, Steve,
where the fuck is Steve?
Where the fuck's Steve?
But you just made me think of a question. Right, so Cap goes back in time. He lives out his life with Peggy Carter. The frozen Captain America, 70 years later, does he get thawed out, and does he just run about like 2000s era America? Or
my theory would be that
do they both exist simultaneously?
But we never see Cap go after Peggy. And our Cap never went after Peggy. Yeah, so we could kind of theorize that their Cap wouldn't do that either, because it'd be weird to show up 40 years later on some sort of like, hey honey, I'm home from the war, and she'd be like, that was 40 years ago. Also, who's this guy? And she points to,
why are you young again?
Slightly older Steve Rogers. He's like, oh
this
shit
ain't funny. Why are you young again?
It'd be great. Just Steve Rogers, but I forgot I did this. Shit,
I'm still frozen in 1945. Motherfucker.
But my theory was that, well, he died on a top secret mission. They would never have, unless Peggy doesn't digging, she would never find out about it. But if Steve Rogers was to return and come home from the war by time traveling, he would come back before she would get suspicious of like, where did he go? Oh yeah. So she would never look for him, because if he's home, she's not going to go looking for him, is she? Yeah. And at that point, he defrosts. He comes out in the 90s or early 2000s or whatever, and then his movies take place. Oh. That was my theory on it anyway.
It could be.
Was he just going to slip?
Because there's a scene in Winter Soldier where she sees Steve and she goes, "Oh my God, Steve, you're here." Maybe it could just be, "Oh wait, you already were here. Maybe why are you young again?"
Well, that's like this is a new timeline. Like Cap going back creates a new timeline of events, but at the same time,
you still have to create. Would that then become an alternate timeline where Steve went in the ice and then the rest of the Avengers movies happened? Yeah. I don't know. Or would it always be Cap lived a normal life and time traveled back? Yeah. I don't know. Trying to figure it out will probably make my brain explode.
One idea that I thought would be quite cool is that what would happen if you had the Steve who goes back, who's been through all the Avengers movies, who's had all that experience, him mentoring fresh out the ice Steve.
That'd be pretty cool.
Just old grizzled Cap and current Cap. Although not really grizzled Cap, because it's weird that he just gets older. He just looks like old Cap. Yeah. He doesn't like get grizzled, or it doesn't seem like he seems happy and content, which is nice, which is what you want.
He's expecting maybe look a bit more veteranish, but no, it's just he's. I think this was his reward for doing all the shit that he did. Yeah, he gets to go back and he gets to live that picturesque life that he always wanted to with Peggy. Yeah,
so that's of all the ways it was really, they kind of give you every ending possible.
Yeah, they wrap shit up quite nicely.
Yeah, and as we say at the start of the 3 hour of our almost hour and a half podcast on a 3 hour movie, this was a mammoth undertaking, and we think they nailed it. Or I think they nailed it.
I definitely think they nailed it. Like I said, there could have been things that there could have been things that I would have done differently, in the sense of I would have maybe, had Hulk actually fight Thanos, but it would have been a losing battle, considering there's only got one working hand at the point. Yeah. Ultimately, I think the Russos just absolutely knocked it out of the park in every way, shape or form that they could. Yeah. It's just, like I said, mammoth undertaking to try and wrap up 22 movies, 11 years worth of movie history with one movie is a Herculean task that they very, very much rose to the occasion. Yeah. So I guess this is real weird, but thank you to everyone involved. I've been thinking about this a lot recently with Game of Thrones finale. Game of Thrones is now wrapped up. We're recording this on Wednesday the 22nd. I know. Of May. Motherfuckers keep spoiling it for me.
The main episode. Behave yourself, Dom. Behave yourself.
Motherfuckers.
But one of the things that's come out of that is been issues relating to season 8, and then there's been a great statement by Sophie Turner, because there's been a petition to rewrite season 8 of Game of Thrones.
Yeah, which I think is kind of harsh.
Again, main episode.
Yeah, main episode.
But the main thing that Sophie Turner pointed out was, That is unbelievably disrespectful to the people hundreds of people who spent like a decade working on this. And the same thing goes for the Marvel movies. Like, they nailed it and they got away clean. It's fucking perfect.
Yeah.
Cannot believe we got to see that. Like, that shouldn't have happened. We should never have had 22 good movies wrapping up in such a crescendo.
Yeah. To end in that kind of way, it's something that I don't think we'll see again for a while.
Yeah.
I think the next bout of Marvel movies could be the next time we see something this big and this epic.
I mean, do you remember when, like, there was a running thing that the third film in the trilogy always fucks it up?
Yeah.
How many times has that rule been broken with Marvel?
Yeah, they've managed to do that they've managed to avoid that quite easily.
So, for the 3,000 minutes, you say, of amazing entertainment content?
I think, 3,000 minutes of total runtime is the Marvel.
Yeah. So
the current Marvel Cinematic Universe.
So, I mean, thank you for that. 'Cause unbelievable.
Yeah, ridiculous. As someone who grew up watching the 90s X-Men cartoon, the 90s Spider-Man cartoon, and 90s Iron Man cartoon, I'd never thought I would see these characters translated to the big screen at all, or so effectively. And I think that kind of comes down to just everyone in the Marvel Cinematic or Marvel Studios just nailing it. Like, from the casting of Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man, from the casting of Steve Rogers to the casting of Black Widow. I don't think they missed a step.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's just incredible luck or just incredible planning, but either way, it's something that I am ridiculously thankful for, because I never thought I'd get anything like this. As someone who used to read, or someone who used to read comics, as someone who reads comics, you always think, oh, this would make a good movie, but it's only now that I'm able to see how good movies can be made out of these comic books.
Yeah. Can you imagine if you time travel back to sit next to, like, 10-year-old you, like, dude, you know they make a movie out of this, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be amazing. 10-year-old like, fuck off. No, they don't. They can't. There's no way they do this. Because that's the thing is, up until 2001, 2000 Spider-Man, this was not on the ballot at all.
No, the early 2000 Spider-Man, I guarantee someone in a boardroom said, how cool would it be if we made an Avengers with the X-Men characters, Spider-Man, and introduced all the other different cool characters? Guaranteed they would have just been laughed out of the boardroom.
I guarantee you someone says, I want to make a Spider-Man movie and we're not going to do it for a joke. That point you get laughed out the room.
Oh yeah.
You don't get to say, and the X-Men, and the Avengers, and Iron Man. Somebody says, I'm going to make Spider-Man. That dude had to fight for it. Sam Raimi, you fucking mad lad.
It was the same. I think over at DC, they threw about the idea of doing a Justice League with Michael Keaton's Batman, Christopher Reeve's Superman. They were going to get Michelle Pfeiffer in there as Catwoman, and they were, instead of Wonder Woman, because Wonder Woman was still in the vice grips of another company, because they made the Linda Carter. Is it Linda Carter?
Yeah, Linda Carter TV show.
The Linda Carter TV show. So they couldn't do it, so they were just going to start pulling different bits from the Batman and Superman movies and making a kind of faux Justice League. And I think Eddie Murphy or something like that was on board to play Aquaman or Green Lantern or something like that. But there's a very old script.
I'd watched the shit out of that.
And it was people that you wouldn't expect to be playing certain roles, playing those roles. It was obviously Michael Keaton and Christopher Reeves as Superman and Batman, but you had Green Arrow in there played by Matt Damon or something like that. He was very young at the time, but this was meant to be post Good Will Hunting that they were looking to do this shit. Yeah, and it was ridiculous.
And that could have been like if that happens at that point, comic book movies die.
Oh yeah, I mean, you see what happened when they tried to reinvent or redo comic book movies in a different style, because you get Batman Returns, okay movies, not fantastic movies. Then you get Batman Forever and fucking Batman and Robin, and that killed comic book movies for a while. And it's good, again, just bringing it back to the Marvel Universe, from someone who watched those movies as a child and seen the death of comic book movies for a long time, because then we got Daredevil, we got the horrible Fantastic Four movies, we got one really good Spider-Man movie and two trash Spider-Man movies.
You watch your mouth, sir.
Spider-Man.
Fantastic Four gave us Jessica Alba. For that, all sins are atoned.
Isn't it Jessica? No, it's Jessica Alba.
Yes, it is.
I was gonna say, isn't it Jessica Biel? But no.
No, those came from the Blade movies.
Oh, hey, Jessica Biel.
Biel's in Blade 3.
Yeah.
The worst one ever. Don't fight me on this one. Don't fight me.
I'm not a fan of the
We're
Blade
doing
movies.
the wrong podcast here, right?
Yeah, but
yeah.
just to see the comic movies coming back and in such a fucking huge way is very, very gratifying, and I'm very, very interested to see the next step past Far From Home, because Far From Home is the last movie in Phase 4.
Yeah.
Then they're moving on to Phase 5.
Yeah.
And I'm genuinely excited to see
Yeah.
what happens next, because it's an open book at this point.
Yeah. It's a strange honour to be in this part of cinema history.
Oh yeah.
I know it's felt a bit played out at times, like back in
the superhero fatigue hit us pretty hard.
2015,
Yeah.
20...
Guardians 2 and like Ant-Man and stuff was
Yeah.
when the superhero fatigue really hit. Then we got Civil War and everyone was just, holy fucking shit.
It's back, bitches.
Yeah, then we got Thor Ragnarok and everyone just lost their tiny little minds.
So yeah. So back from the Gibberpish podcast, thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
And I guess that kind of wraps up the episode.
I'm not going to put a number to it because I don't think I could. I don't want to put a number on it.
Yeah.
I just want to say that I love this fucking movie. And I
yeah.
will be buying it on Blu-ray very soon.
The point of a number is to recommend it someday. This needs no recommendation. Yeah. This is quintessential. Like, this goes beyond like that. This is now part of cinema history.
Yeah, this goes beyond arbitrary numbers.
Yeah. This is beyond numbers. It's a good way to put it. So yeah.
Because I think this is the first movie that they're theorising is going to break 3 billion at the box office.
Yeah. And that's thing. This is box office. It's not out on DVD yet.
Yeah, DVDs. I think DVD sales are going to fucking blow up the minute it gets put out. Because I mean, I've pre-ordered my copy already.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait and see if I can get a big box.
Yeah, the Infinity Saga box looks tasty, but if you're an idiot like me who can't wait and buys them all as they come out, you're kind of kicking yourself in that respect.
So I've been Colin Graham.
I've been Dom Anderson,
and we've been talking Gibberpish about Avengers Endgame.